of fried plantains and eggs filled the air as Linda hummed a tune in the kitchen. Her heart swelled with love as she thought of Chike, her husband of 3 years. Today was his birthday, and she had planned a special surprise for him. The table was set with his favorite breakfast, and a neatly wrapped gift sat beside the plate. A small note attached to it read, "To the love of my life, the one who makes my world beautiful." She glanced at the clock. He had promised to be home early the night before, yet his side of the bed was untouched when she woke up. Worry gnawed at her heart, but she pushed it aside. She knew marriage required patience, understanding, and trust. Chike was a hardworking man, and she wanted to believe his excuses. But the nagging voice in her head refused to be silenced. A knock on the door startled her. She rushed to open it, expecting to see Chike with an apologetic smile. Instead, her best friend Amaka stood there, her face unreadable. "Happy birthday to your dear husband," Amaka said, stepping inside. Linda frowned. "How did you know it's his birthday? I didn't tell you." Amaka hesitated before responding. "Linda, we need to talk, but first, where is Chike?" Linda sighed. "Still not home, but I'm sure he's just caught up with work. You know how demanding his job is." Amaka bit her lip. "Linda, I saw him last night." A chill ran down Linda's spine. "Saw him where?" "At Bell Lounge with another woman." They looked intimate. The door creaked open before she could respond. Chike walked in, his eyes bloodshot, the smell of alcohol clinging to his clothes. He stopped short when he saw Amaka, then turned to Linda, guilt flashing across his face. "Linda, where were you?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The betrayal was no longer just a suspicion. It was real, standing right before her, and it shattered her world. Linda stood frozen, her heart pounding against her ribs. The warmth of the morning, the scent of the breakfast she had lovingly prepared, everything faded into the background. All she could hear were Amaka's words, echoing in her mind like a cruel melody. Chike took a hesitant step forward, his lips parting as if to offer an excuse, but Linda raised a hand, stopping him in his tracks. "Don't," she whispered, her voice trembling. "Don't you dare lie to me." Chike rubbed a hand over his face, exhaling heavily. "Linda, it's not what you think," Amaka scoffed. "Not what she thinks? I saw you, Chike, holding her, whispering in her ear like she was your world. Do you even realize what today is?" Guilt darkened Chike's features, but he remained silent. Linda forced herself to breathe, to keep standing, when all she wanted to do was to collapse. "Who is she?" she asked, her voice stronger. "And don't you dare lie to me, Chike." He swallowed hard. "Her name is Cynthia." The name meant nothing to Linda, yet it sent a fresh wave of pain crashing over her. "How long?" she demanded, her voice breaking. Chuka sighed, looking away. "A few months." A bitter laugh escaped Linda's lips. "Months? While I stayed up waiting, trusting, loving you, while I planned surprises and held on to the belief that we were happy?" Amaka stepped forward, placing a hand on Linda's shoulders. "You don't have to do this now, Linda." But Linda shook her head. "No, I do, because if I don't, I'll keep making excuses for him, and I won't do that anymore." She turned to Chike, her eyes filled with unshed tears. "Tell me one thing, Chike. Did you ever love me, or was I just convenient?" His face twisted in anguish. "Of course I loved you. I still do." "Then why?" Her voice cracked, exposing the raw pain inside her. He opened his mouth, but no answer came, because there was none. Linda wiped her tears and squared her shoulders. "Happy birthday, Chike. I hope she was worth it." Without another word, she turned and walked away, leaving behind the man she had once given her heart to, now shattered beyond repair. Linda sat on the edge of their bed, staring at the ring on her finger. The metal had once felt like a promise, an unbreakable bond between her and Chike. Now it felt like a cruel reminder of the life she had built. The life she thought she understood. Her heart was numb, yet there was an ache that wouldn't subside. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. A message from Chike. Linda, please, I need to talk to you. I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me, but I love you. Please just give me a chance to explain. The words burned her eyes, but she couldn't bring herself to reply. What was there to explain? Was his betrayal some simple misunderstanding? Was the other woman just a passing fling? Or had the love she had believed in been nothing but a convenient lie? She glanced at the clock. It was late, but she knew she wouldn't be able to sleep. How could she, when every moment with Chike now felt like a lie? The house felt too big, too quiet, too empty. The knock on the door was soft, almost hesitant. It was Amaka standing there, with a look of concern in her eyes. I didn't want to disturb you, Amaka said quietly, stepping inside, but I couldn't leave you alone after what happened. Linda managed a thin smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. It's fine, I'm just trying to process everything. Amaka sat beside her, offering a comforting silence. The two of them sat there for a while, the weight of unspoken words heavy between them. Finally, Amaka broke the silence. You're not going to forgive him, are you? She asked softly. Linda shook her head. I don't know. I want to believe it's a mistake, that maybe I overreacted, that maybe he's still the man I married. She let out a deep breath. But how do I look at him the same way after this? How do I trust him again? Amaka's voice filled with empathy. You don't. Not easily. And maybe not ever. But you have to decide what's best for you, Linda. You deserve more than a love that can be so easily broken. Linda wiped at her eyes, tears threatening to fall again. I'm so angry, Amaka. Angry that he hurt me. Angry that I didn't see it coming. How could I be so blind? You're not blind, Amaka said, her voice firm. You trusted him. You loved him with everything you had. That's not a weakness, Linda. It's strength. And you'll find your strength again. But first, you need to take care of yourself. Linda closed her eyes, the weight of the day crashing over her once more. I don't even know where to start. You start by giving yourself time, Amaka replied gently, one step at a time. A few hours later, Linda found herself in the kitchen, a cup of tea in her hands, trying to find some semblance of peace. The house felt quieter now. The sound of Chike's voice no longer filled the space, not the hum of his presence. She thought about his message, and something inside her stirred. Part of her wanted to believe him, to let go of the anger and hurt that had taken root in her heart. But the other part of her, the part that had loved him so deeply, knew that things could never go back to how they were. As the night stretched on, Linda made a decision. She would not let this define her. She would find a way to move forward, whether that meant with or without Chike, but she would no longer be his shadow, waiting for him to come back. She was stronger than that, and in the quiet of the night, with only her thoughts to guide her, Linda began to heal. The days that followed were a blur for Linda. Chike's apologies flooded in, each one more desperate than the last. He sent her messages, left voicemails, and even showed up at the door, pleading for a chance to explain. But each time Linda saw his face, a new wave of anger and betrayal crashed over her. She didn't want to listen to his excuses. She didn't want to hear about how sorry he was. The trust between them had already been broken, and no amount of words could piece it back together. One evening, Linda found herself staring at the street. She hadn't been able to bring herself to leave the house much in the past few days, consumed by the weight of everything that had happened. But today was different. Today she had a choice to reclaim her life, to stop letting her hurt define her. With a deep breath, she grabbed her keys, walked out the door, and into the night. The cafe was cozy, the dim lighting and the quiet murmur of conversations offering her a semblance of peace she hadn't felt in days. She slid into a corner booth, nursing a cup of coffee as her mind wandered. She wasn't sure what she was looking for, but she knew she couldn't stay locked in her home forever, drowning in self-pity. She felt a presence before she saw him, a tall, broad-shouldered, handsome man with an air of confidence. He stood before her with a hesitant smile. "You don't remember me, do you?" he asked, his voice gentle but seasoned. Linda looked up, her brow furrowing. He looked vaguely familiar, but she couldn't place him. "Sorry," she replied, offering a small smile. "Should I?" He laughed softly. "It's been a long time, Linda. It's me, Kola, from university. We were in the same business class." Recognition dawned. Kola, the quiet, reserved guy. They had studied together during their first year, but life had taken them in different directions after that. Linda hadn't seen him since graduation. "Kola," she said, her smile widening. "Wow, it's been so long. What brings you here?" He slid into the seat across her. "I was in the area and I thought I'd stop by. You seem different, though." Linda chuckled, though there was no real humor in it. "Yeah, I guess you could say that again." There was an uncomfortable pause before Kola spoke again. "If you don't mind me asking, what's been going on? You don't look like the Linda I remember." Linda hesitated, unsure of how much to share, but something about Kola's calm presence made her feel like she could open up. "My life. It's complicated," she said, the words coming out almost automatically. "I found out some things about my husband, things I never expected, and now I'm trying to figure out who I am without him. It's been so hard." Kola's expression softened. "I'm sorry you're going through that." Linda shrugged. "It's just life. You think you know someone, and then the truth hits you like a train." He nodded in understanding. "I can't pretend to know what you're feeling, but sometimes the hardest part is letting go of what you thought you had, of who you thought you knew, and of the future you built in your mind. But you'll find your way. It might not be easy, but you're stronger than you realize." Linda found herself staring at him, taken aback by his words. "You really think so?" Paula smiled gently. "I know so. People like you don't give up easily. You just need to believe it." Her eyes met his, and for the first time in a long while, Linda felt a flicker of hope, something she hadn't allowed herself to feel in days. "Thank you so much, Kola," she said softly. "I needed to hear that." They sat there for a while longer, talking about everything and nothing. It was easy to talk to Kola, like slipping into a comfortable pair of shoes. The conversation didn't feel forced, and for the first time in what felt like forever, Linda laughed without thinking about the pain that she was passing through. As they said their goodbyes later that evening, Kola smiled again, this time with a knowing look. "I'm here if you need someone to talk to, and I think you'll be okay, Linda, I really do." For the first time in a while, Linda believed him. The following days felt different for Linda. It was as if the weight of the world had slightly lifted. The darkness in her heart softened. She still had moments where the memories of Chike's betrayal overwhelmed her, when the anger would surge again. But there was something new inside her, a quiet strength she hadn't known she had. Kola's words echoed in her mind constantly. "You're stronger than you realize." She had repeated them to herself every time she felt lost, and slowly she began to believe them. Linda started taking small steps to reclaim her life. She picked up her art supplies again, something she hadn't done in months. Painting had always been her escape, her way of expressing everything she couldn't say with words. The first brush stroke on the canvas was hesitant, but soon it flowed, just like the emotions she had been holding back for too long. One evening, as she was finishing a painting, her phone buzzed again. This time it wasn't Chike, it was a message from Amaka. "How are you doing, love? I'm so proud of you. I can see you healing and it makes me happy. But please don't shut people out. You're stronger with others by your side." Linda smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. She had been leaning on Amaka a lot lately, and her friend had never for once judged her. The support was everything she needed right now. She replied quickly, "Thank you. I'm taking it one day at a time. I'm trying to learn how to live for me, not for anyone else." A few minutes later, her phone vibrated again. This time, a notification from Chike flashed across the screen. "Linda, I know you're angry, and you have every right to be, but I can't lose you. Please, just let me explain. You mean everything to me." The familiar feeling of guilt crept in, but Linda shut it out. She had spent so long questioning herself, trying to see things from his perspective, but now she had to focus on herself. Chike had crossed the line. The damage he had caused couldn't be undone with apologies or empty promises. She put the phone down, exhaling deeply. No more excuses. The next day, Linda went out for a walk, determined to let go of the lingering doubts. The sun was shining and the world felt bigger than it had in days. She passed by the park where children played and couples strolled hand in hand. She stopped for a moment, watching a young mother laugh as her child ran towards her. The joy in the moment was palpable, and it reminded Linda of something important. She had once dreamed of a family with Chike, of growing old together, of building a life full of memories, but that dream had crumbled, and in its place, she now saw a different possibility for her future. "Maybe it's time to make new dreams," she whispered to herself, a sense of peace beginning to settle over her. As she continued walking, her phone buzzed again. This time, it was an unexpected call from caller. "Linda, I hope I'm not disturbing you." Caller's voice was warm and reassuring. "No, not at all," she replied, smiling. "I was just out for a walk." "Good. I've been thinking about you," he said, his tone casual but sincere. "I wanted to ask if you'd like to join me for coffee sometime. I know you're going through a lot, but I'd love to get to know you better. No pressure, just good company." Linda felt a flutter in her chest, but this time it was different. It wasn't desperation or longing, it was curiosity, a willingness to embrace the possibility of something new. "I'd like that," she said, her voice steady. "Maybe tomorrow." "Tomorrow works," caller replied, and Linda could hear the smile in his voice. "I'll pick you up at noon." "Sounds perfect." As she hung up the phone, Linda couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement. She wasn't sure where this would lead, but for the first time in months, she felt like she was opening herself up to something beyond the pain. She was letting go of the past and stepping into a future full of possibilities, one that was all her own.